What's up, MS Gym? How are you guys doing? Good morning and welcome to day 2 of your hip flexor strengthening series. For those of you who are just joining us and those of you who have just joined the past couple days, welcome to the party, man. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the tribe. We're super happy that you guys are here. You are in the right place. If you've been looking for somewhere or a site and a resource online that shows you exactly how to exercise to best help you manage your MS symptoms, that gives you exercise that have thought about and are designed to work around the lesions in your brain and the demyelinated nerves in your body, and a resource that has exercises that are specifically designed to slow down the progression of MS or help you recover, repair, and rebuild after you've had treatment for MS that has hopefully slowed down the progression of MS, man, you are in the right place. You are with the right people. I'm telling you what, you guys, like there's so many cool people in this community, and I'm so super pumped that everybody's here. So a couple little side notes real quick. I know some of you, I'm filming it a couple different times during the week. So I'm going to kind of give you like the schedule. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are going to be at 7 a.m.-ish, right? Plus or minus a couple minutes, okay? Tuesday, I have an important meeting that I have to go to every Tuesday morning. So like today, like the Facebook Lives are going to probably be around 8:30 to 8:45-ish, something like that, just so you guys know. Now you can always go back and watch the replay, but I know some of you like to wake up with my smiling face, and I'm the first thing that you see in the morning, so how can it not be a good day? But that's going to be the schedule, okay? And I'm going to try to keep as close to that as humanly possible. Obviously, some things come up, and I'll let you know if there's any changes. So, without further ado, let's continue on hip flexor strengthening, okay? So like I said yesterday, hip flexor weakness and the inability to lift your leg up when you're walking can be very troublesome for an MSer, okay? So strengthening the hip flexors it's a difficult process. It's an involved process. There's a lot of neurology that goes on with it because the hip flexion is such a big deal in the human body. And it's also biomechanically, meaning how the body moves biomechanically. It's a big movement. It's one of the top movements in your body that as humans we have to have proper hip flexion, and we also have to have proper hip extension, which means kicking your leg back as you walk in order to walk properly. And when one of those gets messed up, it can mess up your world bad. So it's an involved process, and these exercises that we're going through this week are part like one, right? Day one of fundamentals of building up or reestablishing the strength in your hip flexors, okay? So I want you to focus on these exercises. There's a lot of things that lead up to actual doing hip flexion, and one of those is improving the function of your diaphragm, like we talked about yesterday, and improving the function of your deep core. Because if you can't stabilize your spine, and you can't stabilize your deep core, or your abdomen, your pelvic floor, your diaphragm, and your abs, you're not going to lift your leg. It's biomechanically impossible that if you have a core that is like mashed potatoes versus a brick wall, your hips are just not going to work as well, okay? So today what we're going to be working on is what's called isometric hip flexion, which basically means you get into a position and you hold it there. And this works on strengthening the hips, okay? And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to strengthen the hips as they are actually in hip flexion versus trying to lift the leg from ground up, from all the way to the floor up to your waist, because you have gravity involved. So when we're doing all these exercises this week, we're on our back, we're in what's called a supine position, because it takes the pressure, it takes gravity out of the equation so that your brain has a chance to focus on the muscle activation without the complication of trying to overcome the force of gravity through the weight of your leg, okay? So we start basic ground one on our back, then you can go to your stomach, then you end up getting up, and then that's when we start working on standing hip flexion. All right, so yesterday we talked about deep breathing, okay? So we're going to do that again real quick to review. So we're going to start down in this position here, all right? So if you're just joining us, I want you to grab a chair, a stool, an exercise ball, something like that, where you can get your hips at 90 degrees. And you can get your feet at 90 degrees. Because when you pull your feet up and your knees are in flexion and your hip is in flexion, then you are set to work on hip flexion pulling up like that, okay? Because we've already overcome the force of gravity. So if you have problems getting your feet up, it's so important that I want you to, if you have foot drop on one leg and you can get that foot all the way up, you need to be working on foot drop exercises in addition to hip flexor exercises because they play together. So it's like having a quarterback and a receiver. If the quarterback just throws the ball with no receiver, that ball ain't going anywhere, right? And if the receiver's running routes with no quarterback, they're just going to look stupid. So you need to have both, okay? So you have to have foot dorsiflexion and also hip flexion in order to get that leg to work. So foot drop exercises are super important. So I will put a link for foot drop exercises down below this once we're done. I'll also post it yesterday, so if you don't have them, you'll have them so you can work on foot drop exercises in addition to this. So let's go. So let's activate, let's inhibit the diaphragm first. So take our fingers, we're going to go through, you're going right up here by that diaphragm and you're going to work your way down. All you're doing is finding the tender spots right along that rib cage that are sensitive, okay? Once you find some tender spots, I want you to hang out there for about 30 seconds. All this week, I want you to work on releasing and inhibiting that diaphragm because on Saturday, when we go through this whole series, you need to have those diaphragms working. And then neurologically, if you get that tension out of there and that spasticity out of that diaphragm, number one, you're going to breathe better. Number two, you're going to be less stressed. And number three, you're going to be able to move better as we go through all these exercises all at the same time, okay? So you're just working through that diaphragm. Take about 30 seconds as you hear me flap my gums here and release that diaphragm, okay? All right. So what we would do next is you're going to go into that deep breathing. So we're just going to do like 5 of those real quick, and then you can go back and listen to how we do that from our video from yesterday. So let's go through it. So I want you to relax your shoulders. I want you to pull your pelvic floor up. I want you to tip your pelvis back so you feel the small of your back on the floor. So tuck your tail. So tip your hips back this direction. Make sure you're at 90 degrees here. And then you're going to put your tongue on the back of your top front teeth. I want you to inhale for 2 to 3 seconds. So inhale, pull that belly button down, tip that pelvis back, inhale. And then exhale for 3 to 5 seconds. So you should feel that deep core kicking in. Okay, so hold that belly button in, pull up on that pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, lengthen that neck. Inhale. Exhale. You should be feeling that pelvic floor and those abs super deep. Inhale. And exhale. All right, so we activated that deep core, the pelvic floor, and those deep neck muscles, and so we're ready to rock and roll. So what we want to do is we're going to do what's called an isometric hip flexion, meaning we are going to get into a 90-degree hip flexion position, and we are just going to hold it there. This is kind of like the dead bug that we did, but there's no leg movement, okay? This is the pre-dying bug, right? So this is the pre-dead bug. So what is happening here is I want you to tip your pelvis way back, okay? So let me pull out my orange shirt here. So I want you to tip that pelvis way back. I want you to pull those abs down. I want you to relax those shoulder blades. And what I want you to do is pull your toes up. So again, that's why the foot drop exercises are super important. I want you to pull your toes up. Make sure that your thighs are right over your hip joint. So we're at a 90-degree angle right here with our trunk, 90-degree angle right here with our lower legs, 90-degree angle at our feet. So what you're going to do is lock those shoulder blades down and relax. I want you to try to lengthen that neck and focus on having a ball underneath your chin. Pull that belly button down, pull up on that pelvic floor, and I need you to really do this right now, is tuck your tail until you feel your lower back push into the floor and pull those abs down. That is vitally important during this exercise that you do that. Otherwise, you're just feeding into the MS pattern in your brain. When you posterior pelvic tilt, that is an anti-MS pattern. Okay, most of the people that I've worked on, a large majority, over 90%, they cannot pelvic tilt. They've just not been taught. So once you pelvic tilt backwards and you get the small of your back pushing to the floor, then you can work on hip flexion. So what I want you to do is you're just going to be right here. You're right at 90 degrees. Abs are in. And all I want you to do is pick one leg up and hold it. Then pick the other leg up and hold it. And I want you to focus on tipping that pelvis back, pulling those abs down. And then I want you to focus on your deep breathing. So you're holding those toes up. You're holding those abs up. And let's go into 3 breaths. Okay, ready? Abs are down. Pelvic floor is up. Tip that pelvis back. Pull that belly button down. Tongue on the back of your front teeth. Inhale. Exhale. If you feel just shaking right now, you're doing it right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Pull that belly button down. And relax real quick. Oh my gosh, I even felt that, okay? That's huge. So if you need assistance on this, you may want to wrap a strap around your legs like this. I don't have one out. And you're going to pull back and just lightly hold. But I want you to think about using these hip flexors and using your core to pull the legs back. Don't depend on that strap. If you can only get through one breath cycle and that's all you got in your body, that's cool. If you can do 2 breath cycles, that's cool. If you can do 3, even better, but don't go more than 3 because then you'll start arching your back. So let's do 5 reps showing a 1 breath cycle. So for those of you that are just starting out with hip strength, then just do 1 breath cycle at a time. As you get more advanced, you can do 2 breath cycles per lift, 3 breath cycles per lift. Heck, if you want to get really good, you can do 5 breath cycles per lift, okay? So let's do this again, walk through it. So relax your neck and make it long. Pull that belly button down, pull that pelvic floor up, tip your pelvis back. I want you to tuck your tail, feel the small of the back on the floor. Abs are in. We're doing this 5 times, okay? So what you're going to do, put the tongue on the back of your, follow my instructions, put the tongue on the back of your teeth. I want you to inhale slow, or actually, sorry, relax. I want you to lift one foot, okay? Pull those abs down. Lift the other foot, pull the abs down. Inhale, inhale. Exhale, pull the belly button down. Put the feet down. Go to inhale. Inhale and lift your legs. Pull that belly button down. Exhale. Pull that belly button down. Put the legs down at the end of your exhale. Okay? So belly button down. Tip your pelvis back. Lift your legs up and inhale. Exhale. Pull the belly button down. Put the feet down. Keep that belly button in. Tip your pelvis back. Tongue on the back of your mouth, or tongue on the back of your front teeth. Inhale. Lift the legs. Inhale. Exhale. Two more, okay? Tip the pelvis back. Pull the belly button down. Lift the legs and inhale. Exhale. Belly button down. Legs are down. You can hear me shaking, guys. Belly button down. Tip the pelvis back. Relax your shoulders. Last one. Tongue on the back of your teeth. Lift the legs first and then inhale. Pull the belly button down. Lift the legs. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it. Belly button down. And relax. Good job. So that was only 5 reps. And I'm telling you what, like my core right now, especially like right down here in my lower abdominal pelvic floor area, is lit up like a Christmas tree, 4th of July, Mardi Gras parade, bam, okay? So I felt that, and you could hear it in my breath going, and shaking, because my deep core has not been activated yet today. I didn't get a chance to work out this morning. So this was the first activation, and you will feel that shake if you're doing it properly. Again, if you need to put a strap around your legs and hold them up, do it. But I want you to think about actively pulling those knees back towards your chest and using that strap as an assist, not as a crutch, okay? So that's what you do. So I'll put the progression up. So basically you get yourself on the bench, you get yourself up where your legs are up on a chair, a bench, a stool, or an exercise ball. You tip your pelvis back, pull those abs down, relax the shoulders, lengthen the neck. Then you pull that belly button down, lift your legs, inhale for about 2 to 3 seconds, pause, pull the belly button down, exhale for 3 to 5 seconds, put those feet back down. That is 1 rep. That is 1 breath cycle. That's what we're going to start with. As you get better, you may do 3 to 5 breath cycles, and you may do 5 to 10 repetitions. I mean, some of my MSers, when they got really good at this, were doing this for like 10 minutes straight. And let me tell you, their hip flexion strength went up. Their core stability went up. Their balance went up. Their walking improved. Their falling decreased. Their core strength went up and everything else just got better. So focus on this today. Focus on just getting that isometric hip flexor hold and really pulling those hips back towards your chest, okay? So even though if you may have an assistance here with that strap, just think about using those muscles, tipping that pelvis back and pulling those legs back as you go through that one breath cycle while holding that belly button in, and then relax it. Then you go through your whole preload again. I'm just making sure you got this, okay? So abs are down, pelvis back, lift the legs, inhale for 2 to 3 seconds, exhale for 2 to 3 seconds, holding that belly button in, and then put the legs down, go through the cycle again, okay? So I will put those steps up in the comments. Again, I'm spending a little bit more time on these exercises one by one because they are vitally important. And when you put them together in a circuit like we're doing on Saturday, we're not going to go through as much instruction time. You just kind of go through and you flow through the exercises, but it's a step-by-step flow. So each steps build on the previous steps in order, or so that by the end of the circuit, man, your core and your hip flexors are fired up and ready to roll. All right. So if you like this video, go down and like it. Share it if you need to, if you want to, if you feel like, hey man, there's someone out there that needs to hear this. And please keep the comments rolling. I cannot tell you how fired up I was yesterday, even though I was having an autoimmune flare up and I was exhausted yesterday. The comments I was getting and the testimonies, and man, I've only been doing this a week and this is working. This is fantastic. Fired me up to no end. It inspired me. I came home just on cloud 9 with my wife last night, talking to Misty about everything awesome that's happening. You guys are my lifeblood. You guys are my light. You guys all in the MS Gym are the reason why I do this every single day, because I want to keep helping you, and it's giving me more and more information to create some amazing, comprehensive programs that are going to lead you out of some of the symptoms that you have and really get you back into a full-bore exercise progression and program. So I love every single one of you. Thank you for being here. All you new members, again, welcome to the family, and I will see you all tomorrow for part 3 of this hip flexion, okay? So really focus on that breathing and really focus on getting those hip flexors fired up, because if you get the strength in the isometric, then when your leg starts moving, you're going to be able to lift your leg better when you do things like walking and going upstairs, okay? So enough of me talking. Go practice. Have an awesome Tuesday.